So I shared a post earlier today. I didn't really expand on my thoughts about it, but I figured we can talk about it today.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So the post says, someday your kids are going to figure you out. I promise you they will. The type of parent you are, the type of spouse you are, how you treat other people, how much effort you put into them. You're either going to be someone they look up to or someone they never want to be like. Always remember they are watching and absorbing. And I thought, that's so true. And that's how we live our lives. Because I think it's funny. It makes me think about how I grew up and the fact that that's really what happens. Like, the older you get, the more you grow, you really look at your parents and be like, dang, like, I don't know if I want to be like you in this area, or I do want to be like you in this area. And you just start to put pieces and puzzles together of things you want to do or want to be concerning your parents.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just thought it was an interesting thought, because I don't think people realize how much they impact their kids. Yes. Like how what they do in their kids see impacts them.
That's major.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I hope this is coming out. This feels weird starting the episode. Like, I feel kind of weird about it.
You're doing great, boo.
Okay.
Believe in yourself.
Believe. But yeah, I think it's, I don't think people realize how impactful they are to their children and how that impact makes their children see the world in a certain type of way sometimes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. The way you are as a parent does impact the way your child sees the world.
Right.
Because you're really like the first interaction with the world.
Right.
Not their first, maybe.
Their first.
You're your first and you're their biggest reflection of the world.
Yeah.
Like they're the closest to you. You're their leadership.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And it makes me think about, obviously, how we parent baby girl, and how I've always wanted to be a role model for her. Like, I love my parents dearly, but they weren't my role models. Like, I don't even think I ever had an actual role model, like someone I looked up to and wanted to be like.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? And that's no disrespect to like anybody or my parents or anything. It's just the honest truth.
Yeah.
So, but I want to be that person baby girl can look up to and like respect and be like, you know what? My mama went after everything she said she wanted to. She did hard things. She showed me how to do hard things. She showed me it was okay to go through challenges and learn and grow. And I want her to see that. I want her to see me struggle, but also see me show her that it's worth it. Some struggles are actually worth it. Some challenges are actually worth it, you know?
It's like wanting her to be able to have a full perspective.
Yeah.
That's how I kind of see it. Like, so wanting her to be able to see the full process rather than seeing just one potentially distorted idea of a portion of the process. It's like, nah, these are all the elements of who your mom is as she's moving toward a certain goal, as you're reaching certain things, as you're in the doing,
right?
As you're exerting the effort, like seeing all the sides of it, and kind of, well, basically watching you be human through the process. Because, I mean, from your childhood to being an adult, like there's still a lot you got to figure out.
Absolutely.
So being able to see, especially, you know, as her mom, being able to see you go through that process of discovering and trying and leaning into being more of yourself and going through that whole thing and being open and transparent with her through the process.
Yeah. And something I literally just talked to her about the other day. I'm like, I'm more than just your mom. Like, I'm a human being trying to grow in this world, trying to figure out things, going after certain goals, trying things. And sometimes I figure out that that's not really what I want to do. So I pivot. Like, and I was like, you've seen me do so many different things and achieve so many different things in different areas. And I think I was telling her, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I was basically telling her that it's okay for you to figure out things while you're doing it.
Yeah.
As an adult, you don't always have it figured out. And that's something that I thought, like before I was an adult, I thought you were supposed to just know particular things and like you were supposed to have things like set and it was supposed to be like, oh, you just, you know how you like, it's basically like you put on this hat and it's just like everything, all the knowledge that you need for the rest of your life is just there. You know, like that sounds so dumb, but that's what I thought. I just thought like something is bestowed upon you when you turn 18 and you just know everything.
Yeah, magically.
Magically. And I felt like I didn't see enough of my parents learning through the process. So to me, it looked like they had it all figured out, even though it wasn't the way that I wanted to figure out. It just seems like I don't even know how I'm trying to explain it. It's like it was always just one way to do a thing. Mm-hmm. It wasn't you figuring out your own way. It has to be this way.
Yeah.
And then growing out of that and saying, no, like there's many different ways you can achieve many different things. And you can create your own way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you get so much more perspective the older you get. You know
I agree.
What I mean? You get so much more perspective because, I mean, shoot, with us being parents now, I've thought about that because I've heard that quote before. And sitting here now, and even before when I thought about it, like, I think about like my relationship like with my mom, and then I compare that to how we've been with baby girl. And I'm like, man, you know what? Your parents, a lot of the times, man, most of them have no clue what they're doing.
That's true.
And they really trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then when you think about like a child one day figuring you out, so to say, I think that even for me, when I feel like I figured out my parents, so to say, you know what I mean? The first step was, all right, you're not anything like what I want to be. That's like step one. Then it was like, all right, this is what my experience was growing up. This is what I like. This is what I didn't like. This is what I want my life to be like. This is what I don't want. And you just start saying stuff. It's like, man, you know, you didn't do this. This is how things turned out for you. I don't want that. And next thing you know, you start running away from all of the stuff that you don't like. And then it's like, as life continued, I started to realize, dang, man, there was so much more there that I didn't know. Like, I didn't know how badly life had beaten you up for so long. I didn't know the stuff that you were struggling through. I didn't know how it was impacting you on a deeper level from an adult perspective. Like, I didn't, and it's one thing, even if you feel like you know what they were going through, you don't know how they were receiving it.
Absolutely.
And so there's so many missing things there, especially when you grow up in a world where your parents are in survival mode majority of the time, like, which is what my childhood was. And you got so many different things going on. And there's like no time to ever stop and give you a lesson if you got a lesson from it in the first place. And so it brought me to a point of just really being extremely empathetic about my upbringing and who I thought my mom to be. And it's like, dang, you know what? You really just played the hand you were dealt. And I don't fault you for it. Because like life really is tough. Especially growing up in the type of environment that I was raised in. And even worse, in the type of environment my mom was raised in and what she experienced, because what she went through was way worse than anything I had ever been through. But she survived it long enough to get me to the point to where I am to be able to make my own decisions and get away from some of those things. But then it's like, I look at us and how we parent baby girl. And one of the things that I'm the most grateful for is the fact that we've walked her through our process, the good, the bad. We've allowed her to be able to see us in moments where we were really trying to figure it out, when we've made decisions that weren't the best decision. We told her why they weren't the best decisions and why we had to change certain things. So we've allowed her to be a part of our process when she has life experiences. And we're going through it and we're teaching her about that experiences and how we perceive it and protecting her from certain things. It's like, okay, baby girl, this is what we see. Let us tell you why this may not be the best perspective, the best thing to do, or whatever the case may be. So there's a lesson behind it rather than I told you not to do that. And that's a lot of what a lot of people don't get growing up.
Right.
They get told, don't do this. You can't do that. Don't be over there. I don't like this or whatever, but there's no teaching behind it to give perspective. And then a lot of the time there's no teaching to make it relatable to the situation where they can understand it and receive it and actually do something with that.
Right.
And I love the fact that we've been so intentional about keeping baby girl a part of our process, showing her when we had to make corrections, allowing her to be able to come to us when she thought that we didn't make the best decisions, and then putting us in a position where it's not us defending our case, but getting even better at explaining why we took a certain action. And then even her getting to a place where it's like, you know what, I don't have to understand that, but you're my parents and I respect that and honor that, and then move on from there. And then if we get new information, we able to have those conversations again. And so now it's like, it's not a dictatorship. It's like, no, the real goal here is understanding the reason why we have it's the understanding of the reasons why we're making the decisions that we're making and how life is treating us the way it is, or what we're going after, how these failures or lessons may have impacted us. We're given a full picture. So there's no figuring it out. So now as we're progressing, as she sees us being human in the doing. And we make our process so relatable to her, to where she's able to see that life is really like this. Like life is literally a process of you constantly becoming, overcoming challenges, learning and having different perspectives and all of these different things. And I think that's one of the greatest differences that I've seen in the way that we parent baby girl, the way it's like now when she gets to a point where she's looking at us, it's not just like, oh, my parents didn't go for it or they were fraud or all of this other stuff. It was like, no, I constantly seen them putting themselves in uncomfortable situations, overcoming different things. When they had one perspective, they would pursue information to be able to learn something different. I saw them being human and working through the process, but she has the perspective of the fact that we're working through the process to get that understanding to get to the next level. And it's not this just like this dictatorship of, oh, you should have did this or you should have did that. Or you failed at this or you weren't that or you lied about that or whatever. No, we giving you full picture, full perspective.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man. But that really just... You
kind of went there.
Yeah, like that. Because I had more of a straight and narrow thought about that at first. But like, you really got to bring that thing, like zoom all the way out and bring it back in. Because there's so much that goes unsaid. So much that goes unsaid. And you being a mom, like, and seeing how you've been with baby girl, man, it's that much more important because you're her first encounter with a woman and who she's going to see herself in. Yeah.
My relationship with baby girl is so important to me. Like, it's super important to me. Because my relationship with my mom when I was growing up, it wasn't the best. We are great now. Thank God we're great now. But growing up, it just was not the best. But my mom has went through so much. So much. And I've forgiven her for a lot of things. I've given her, grace because like she went through a lot. So her trauma impacted our relationship and she had no control over her trauma. You know what I'm saying? So she was basically trying to raise me and deal with that. And you know how therapy is a big thing now, but back then it wasn't. Yeah. Like it wasn't like the quickest resource. You know what I'm saying? Like you can call up a therapist on your phone right now if you wanted to. That was not a thing back then. And then there was still this, stigma of, going to therapy, you're freaking crazy or whatever, Yeah.
So they was already starting.
They were starting, Rocky, and they were really, really young. So, but anyway, like, I forgot where I was going with that. Me and baby girl's relationship is really important to me because I know how I view women based on my relationship with my mom and with her mom, because I didn't have the best relationship with my grandmother either. So for baby girl, I'm like hyper intentional about how I show up in her life, because I want her to look at women as like she can connect with women. Like she doesn't feel like she can't trust a woman because of the first woman in her life was just wasn't the best at the time with what she had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's important for our relationship to continue to thrive. And I will always pour my everything into my relationship with baby girl.
And I think your honesty and your transparency with how you've been able to navigate your relationship with your mom and what you've grown through and how you keep her included. Like, it's the same thing we do in our marriage. Like, I watch the conversations that you've had with baby. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen you bring her into why you feel the way that you do. Even in moments, where you were confused or didn't have not necessarily the best answer, but you was like, hey, this is what it is right now. And this is just how I'm feeling. And this may or may not be the best approach right now, but I got to work through my feelings because I know that the decision I'm making might stem from my upbringing or something I've been through before, but you're going to have to let me work through this. Right. And I think that's dope because it's like, even though it's like you said, like, hey, I said don't do this, and I'm not 100% sure this the right approach. But right now, I don't know how to get through this thing yet, but I know it's coming from somewhere that's outside of me. I'm going to need you to honor my decision right now, what I've told you to do, because I need to find my way through this thing. Yeah. And some people will look at that sideways. They're like, well, you the parent, you just told to do X, Y, Z, whatever. She need to listen and do what you said. But I think that creates a whole new level of opportunity for her to be able to see the humanness in it and also understand that, like, there's way more at play here. And so as she's growing up, it's like she'll already have that opportunity to where it's like some stuff I know that I might get from my mom or my parents or whatever the case may be. But there might be other opportunities that might show up to where she has to figure out, like, why do I believe this way? Why do I make decisions this way? Where did that come from? Is this truly me and what I believe or whatever the case may be? Or is this something that was pushed on me or instilled in me? And be able to challenge those, because she's watched you do that. You know what I mean? And I think that's super dope.
I think it's important for her to watch me do that because, like I said before, like, she needs to know that not knowing the answer is okay. Like, that's a part of life, like figuring things out and letting her just see my process of figuring things out. Not just saying, oh, I'm gonna just go figure it out and I'll go over here and then now I got to answer. Like, no, I'm going to talk you through this particular thing. Of course, it's not everything. I don't tell her every situation, but certain things I do sit her down and we talk about me figuring it out and the process of that, because she's going to have things that she's going to have to figure out too. And she needs at least a template. Yeah. So she don't have to create it from scratch unless she just wants to. But I want to give her tools to actually use in life. I don't want her to go into the world and be completely oblivious. And that is like one of my fears, which now it ain't, because this girl, listen,
she's fine. Like
oh my God.
That's really all it is to say to it.
The most confident chick ever. I'd be like, girl, okay, you got it. So I'm definitely like, when I see her and I see how she functions in the world, I'm just like so proud, because the confidence she has, the boldness she has, how she walks with her chest out, her head up. I'm like, that's it. That's it. Like, I was telling her when me and her was recording, I feel like yesterday when we recorded, I had this, we have so many conversations. They all blend together at this point. But I was telling her something I truly admire about her is how confident she is in herself and how she just like beams confidence. And that's something great to have at the age of 15. Like, she wasn't like me trying to figure it out at 30. But she won't be like me trying to figure it out at 30. Like, she already has surpassed, like, the confidence she has at 15, I still didn't have at 30. Like, it's crazy.
I wonder where she gets that from.
Well, hopefully me, but I just love that she has that about herself. And lately I've been telling her that I am very intentional about letting her know the things like I admire about her, the things that I think are dope about her, the things that the areas I've seen her grow. Like, it's important for her to hear these things. And I keep just reiterating these things, like pouring this stuff into her, because I would tell you, but I wouldn't tell her. Mm-hmm. And she needs to know this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's important.
Like, she needs to know how I view her as a person. Like, as my child, sure, but as a person. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I make sure we have those conversations, because I don't want her to be as insecure and unsure and full of self-doubt like I was. Mm-hmm. You know?
I think you've already set one hell of a foundation.
Oh, I know. That is one thing I am very, I used to always question whether or not I was a good mom or not. But today, you can't tell me I'm not a good mom. Like, I see the fruits of my labor. Like, watching my baby, like, I know I'm a good mom. The way she thinks, the way she functions in the world, like, I know I'm doing a good job. Like, I know.
I'm proud of you.
And the fact that I work overtime to pour everything that I have into her. Like, I know I'm a good fucking mom.
I already know. I get to witness it every day.
Yeah. But it's one thing for you to get to witness me being a great mom. But for me to believe that about myself these days, like, is completely different than before. Because know how I was.
Been there.
I questioned for years whether I was just doing the right thing as a mom.
Yeah.
So.
Because like most moms, you still always question and wondering, am I making the right decision? Am I being who she needs me to be? And all of these things. And I think that's common in any and every mom, because you care. Mm-hmm. It's just like we was talking about yesterday. Like, when you care, your effort is different. Mm-hmm. You're more intentional. You try harder. You pour everything into it when you actually care. Mm-hmm. And then it's tough because sometimes you don't know, even in you caring so much, if it's enough. Mm-hmm. And you question yourself. Like, I mean, even as I've talked about it before, as being a husband, you want to serve and take care of your family and all of these things, but you always question whether or not if what you're doing is actually good enough. Mm-hmm. Or if everybody's kind of just amening you or tolerating you or whatever the case. You know what I mean? So I get that. Yeah.
And I think, like, on top of that, with me having her so young, like, the feelings that I had about me having her so young, so I felt like I had to, like, overcompensate for, you know what I'm saying?
It's even more that.
So it's like, even like, dang, like, I probably brought her in. I felt like I brought her into the world too early. Like, why did I do this? Okay, now I got to make sure I make this move. I got to do everything correctly because I made a mistake. Mm-hmm. A mistake. God do his thing. Like God do his thing regardless.
Right.
But you know what I'm saying? So, but in my head, it was just like, I just had to do everything perfectly. And I still questioned myself. Mm-hmm. Like, literally every decision I made after having baby girl was for baby girl. Joining the military, like, everything. You know what I'm saying? So I was still, at 30, still questioning whether or not I was doing everything that I needed to do for her. And it wasn't until we had I don't know if we recorded an episode. I don't even know if we posted it. But we had an episode where I was telling you about, I felt like I was still punishing my 15, 16-year-old self. I was still punishing my 30-year-old self for what my 15, 16-year-old self did. I feel like, I don't even know if we posted that.
Unfortunately,
we lost that episode.
That episode was lost in a hard drive crash.
Yeah. Okay. No wonder. But but yeah. So I was still punishing myself for the actions of my teenage self at 30, And it wasn't until I had that come to Jesus meeting with myself and I was like boohoo crying. And I really was like, Adoria, that helped you become who you are. You can't say you love yourself, but hate what you did, or still punish yourself for what you did. You can't say you love everything about your baby girl and think she's the most beautiful thing and like the best thing that's ever happened to you and still be punishing yourself for her existence. That literally makes no sense. So I really had to like pull it together and address that and be like, no, like everything happened the way it was supposed to. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm no longer going to feel ashamed or anything like that. Like, yes, I had my baby girl at 16, a junior in high school. Okay. And we are here. And I regret nothing.
It's one of those things that's it's hard to have that perspective or that type of perspective in the moment. But in the more settled times like now, you know, in hindsight, knowing that nothing can ever be singularly bad.
Listen,
like
that's true.
In every catastrophe, mistake, lesson, failure, all of that, there has to be an equal good. There has to be an equal positive side to it. And knowing that nothing can singularly be bad. Like the world, it's just not set up that way. But it's one of those things to where you have to, for one, first off, you have to choose to believe that it's there. You have to believe that there's good in whatever that thing is. And then you have to have the mindset and the will to pull it out. It's like it exists, but you have to pull it out and then choose to see it as good.
Right.
You have to be able to choose to be able to turn whatever that circumstance or situation is into the equivalent blessing and opportunity that already existed the moment the thing happened.
Right.
And so quite literally, man, like you brought all of the amazing aspects of that out.
Yeah.
And in and through your efforts in raising her into who she is right now. Like you will that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and I think it's amazing for me because, you know, of course, I've been able to be there with you through all of this stuff and most of this stuff.
Literally. Well, yeah.
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah.
But, and being able to have seen you go through those ups and downs and quite literally like crazy mental breakdowns of wondering if, you know, that if you are the good mom and if you're showing up the way that you're supposed to, and then transitioning into that and be like, damn, like you a banging ass mom.
Right.
Like, all of that stuff. Like I've been able to see all of that, but also have been able to see your efforts. I'm like, man, you've earned the right to be able to say like, hey, you know what? You are what you say you are. You are that dope mom who poured everything into her baby girl and was intentional about it. And like, I'm proud of who she is today. Like you earned that. And like, not just through some BS. Oh, I deserve everything. Like you're perfect the way you are. Like put your hand over your heart and believe in yourself. Like, no, like
you're a goddess.
You're a goddess. Like none of that little frou-frou ass shit, man. Like you actually put in the real work.
Absolutely.
And not just in what you poured into her, but through your own efforts in becoming a better you and then allowing her to see that.
Yes.
That's the bigger part. It's like, it wasn't just like, hey, you know what? I'm going to parent you this way so that way I can make up for all of the stuff that I did. No, I'm going to become more. You're going to see me become more. You're going to be a part of my process of me becoming more. And the better version that I'm becoming is going to be pouring everything back into you. Absolutely. So that you can become more. Mm-hmm. And we're going to walk through this thing together.
Absolutely.
And she becomes more as you become more. Mm-hmm. And like, that's what it's like. That's the work. Mm-hmm. It ain't even always been just about what you poured into her. Mm-hmm. It's been about what she's been able to see in her mom and watch you become, because she's also seen the low points of you.
Yeah.
She's seen the down parts of you. Mm-hmm. Even worse, she's been the reflection of the lowest parts of you.
Ooh.
And when you started to self-correct, she also self-corrected. Mm. And when you became that greater version of you, mm-hmm. she followed suit. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, you about to... I got on mascara, so...
But that's what you did.
I know, but
you like did that.
When you say it like that, it's one thing to like live through it, but then to hear somebody like replay it back. Cause like when I said I wanted to basically unalive the old me, the old version of me. Right. You know, you got to say that now.
Yeah.
Like that old version of me, like I was done being and doing and getting what I had before. Like I was done with that. Knowing that I knew that me becoming more would impact her. So that was a part of my motivation, like, or a part of my inspiration in general. Like, cause I knew like once I fixed myself, I knew she would naturally get better. And I knew you would naturally get better. That's just how we function. Like our connection in our household is so strong. When one of us gets better, it just happens like freaking clockwork. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because our bond is like that. So I'm just glad that I'm glad that I had that freaking meltdown. Like, I'm really glad I had that meltdown and was like, no, like I can't live like this no more. Like, I can't do this. Watching myself be like this and her be like, no, not no more. And so I'm just glad that I went with, I actually did something about it. Because it's one thing to feel a certain type of way about yourself. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people that feel a certain type of way about themselves and they still continue to do the same thing.
That's facts.
I didn't want to be that. I didn't want to be average anymore. I wanted to be above average.
Come on.
And I wanted my kid to be above average because she's told me many times that I'm her role model. So if your role model is doing some average stuff, what you gonna do? Some average stuff. So I had to rise to the occasion. I had to become more for my own benefit and for hers. And obviously you know, you're gonna benefit anyway.
We all follow suit.
So
that's just how we operate.
For real.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. There's still more work to do.
And you're still doing it. Because the journey don't stop.
It don't.
We just keep going and we keep getting better. Until the end.
Keep going and keep growing.
Come on. I see you, baby.
You're so silly. You're so silly.
But in closing, my love, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm so proud of you committing to that journey of becoming that better version of you. And I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to be able to see it. Mm-hmm. And it's so dope knowing that not only that you did that for yourself, but knowing that you have the type of bond that you do with baby girl to where she was able to naturally follow suit. Mm-hmm. And seeing that transformation happen in her. Mm-hmm. That's fire.
It is.
That's fire.
Listen, my love for y'all runs so deep. I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure y'all are good. And if that meant me changing, I was going to do it. I'll do it again. And I will.
And just know you're going to get that same energy back.
I know.
And the positive.
Of course, positive. Yeah, we only up.
Only
so,
up.
yeah.
Only up.
Only up.
I know anytime, man, like you said, anytime one of us goes through that process of getting better, we all get better.
Facts. Every time.
Don't matter who started.
I love it. Shoot, baby girl just told us she want to do 75 hard. I'm like, oh,
bet.
Okay. Time to level up again. Like, bet. I mean,
I'm like, I wasn't planning on it.
I wasn't planning on it either.
I'm like, shoot, you ain't finna do it by yourself. So what's up?
Right. I guess we got to do it too.
Like, you say when, bro, it's on. I don't care nothing about it.
You gonna get past day 42? Oh, we ain't talking about that.
They ain't had nothing to do with this conversation.
We not talking about that.
They had nothing to do with this.
I didn't mean to tell the people. They already knew though. If they watched the episode.
Old stuff. Old stuff.
Oh, you know what? This is a new version of you.
Yeah. See,
so I can't keep bringing the old you. You know, see, where the old you fell short.
That's how they do, bro. Most be trying to hold you accountable to the old version of you.
I literally just said I'm not gonna do that.
Bro, we ain't even on that right now. See, and we were just talking about being better and whatnot. Want to bring up some old stuff? Nah, it's cool though.
Apparently, I hit a soft spot.
Wow, now I'm a soft spot. Okay. Big.
Anyway, but we're gonna do it, and I'm excited about it.
Yeah, man, I'm down. As soon as y'all ready, it's on and popping. It is what it is. We all locked in.
Sounds good.
Let's go. You want to close it?
I don't know what to say. You close it.
Okay. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode, family. Y'all know how we do, man. It's been real. Been truly real. And thank you so much, baby, for spending this time with me, sharing all that you did and just being as dope as you are.
Thank you. I got to get better at leading the show.
You'll be all right. It's coming.
It's coming. Practice makes progress.
All of that. But if you guys have enjoyed the episode, please do like, comment, and subscribe. Follow us everywhere. All of that good stuff. My name is John Tron. This is my beautiful queen.
Adoria. We
are one dope couple. And until next time, family. I don't know what I was about to say.
I don't know.
But anyway, until next time. Peace and love.